Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So right in front of me is the all-new 2020 Hyundai Creta. First and foremost, I really love the design language of the car. The Creta's design has been inspired from the Hyundai's flagship SUV, the Palisade. The looks are more elegant and stunning for sure. This is the engine bay of the car, and this is a 1.5 liter 16 valve CRDI engine, and CRDI stands for Common Rail Direct Injection. This engine produces 115 horsepower at 4000 rpm and 250 Nm torque at 1500 rpm, and mileage of this car is 21.4 km per liter as per ARAI. This being a BS6 engine has undergone downsizing from 1.6 liter, so there is a drop in power when you compare it with this predecessor. But what Hyundai has done is they have widened the peak torque band than the one in the predecessor. There's insulation given over here, and the NVH levels in the cabin are so good, and the cabin is so silent. Moving to the side of the car, the tire size happens to be 250/60 R17-inch rims, and the design of the rims is like it or hate it design. Some may like it and some may not, but the top level trim, that is the SX optional trim, get diamond cut rims, and that looks really good in this car. And over here you get the ventilated disc brakes at the front. This car comes with a chunky square-shaped front end and thick creases over the wheel arches, which are given black treatment and runs all over at the bottom of the car, and it adds to its SUV characteristics. The new Creta has become a visibly larger vehicle and has superb proportions. The side mirrors are finished in body color, and down there is black color treatment given, which looks really good, and the LED indicators are placed on the side mirrors, which is actually really nice. The door handles of this car has been finished in chrome, which looks good and feels more premium, and there is request sensor given only on the driver's side, and it is missing on the other door handles, which Hyundai should have given it. Moving to the back side, the rear wheels of the car happens to be the same size as it is in the front, but you get smaller size disc brakes than the ones in the front. The C-pillar of this car looks really attractive and finished in silver color, but it isn't that contrast with white car. But with the other colors, this C-pillar looks really good. The rear end is something which I really like in this car. The tail lights have been lowered down for aerodynamic purposes and looks fantastic. The tail lights have been divided into 3 pieces. The indicators and reverse lights are placed at the bottom piece, and there is a small piece of reflector at the center, and top piece happens to be an horizontal reflector which joins to the black bar and joins both the tail lights, and the brake lights are placed at the center. And there is huge Creta badging given over here, and the reverse parking camera is placed right above the number plate placement. And the reverse parking sensors are placed on the lower end of the car where there is black treatment given. So next we'll check the interior of the car. The seating positions at the rear seat are very comfortable. There is good amount of knee room and leg room on offer, and under thigh support is pretty good, and even headroom is quite adequate for a passenger of 5 foot 11 inches like me. And thanks to the extended wheelbase of this car, as you get more space at the rear when you compare it with the predecessor. This car gets a massive panoramic sunroof which is huge in size, and it brings down a lot of light inside the cabin, which makes it feel more airy, and this being a first in segment will surely attract a lot of buyers. This car gets dual tone seats which are finished in black and beige color and looks really bright, and the attention to detail given on the stitching pattern is amazing. And this adds to the premium nature of the car. And you get ISOFIX child seat mounts on both sides of the rear seats. And this car gets adjustable headrests on both sides along with the cushions, which is really good. But this car doesn't get an headrest for the center passenger, and there is center armrest along with cup holders, which is pretty decent sized. There is storage space given on the door, which is pretty decently sized, and 1 liter bottles can easily fit in. The door panels are finished in dual tone of black and white, and the door handles are finished in chrome, which looks really good. The speakers are placed right over here, and this car gets Arcamized sound system, and the audio quality is fabulous. The rear AC vents are placed right over here, and there's a USB slot placed here, and there's a small storage space to keep your stuff over here, and there's magazine holders on both the sides. There are sun blinds for all the windows in this car, and this adds to the premium details of the car. Let's quickly open the boot of the car. The boot size of this car happens to be 433 liters, which is 33 liters more than its predecessor. The boot is pretty decently sized, and 2 large suitcases can easily fit in. There is a small light placed over here, which is more than enough to make the boot bright. The spare wheel is placed right over here, and the spare wheel happens to be a smaller size of 205/65 R16-inch rims, and it isn't an alloy either. This car gets a flat bottom steering wheel which looks really good, and there's silver treatment given which adds to the premium detailing of the car. And over here you get steering mounted controls, and cruise control function is placed right over here along with the controls for the infotainment system. And the controls for picking up the phone call and changing the modes and voice controls are placed right over here. The engine start-stop button is placed right down corner of the driver's side along with the functions for the traction control and headlight adjustment. The design of the AC vents are really good, and the chrome highlights given to it are fantastic. And the controls for the windows are finished in matte black, and it is placed right over here. And these are the controls for the electrically adjustable OVRMs. The front door panels are also finished in dual tone of black and white, and it feels so premium. And the front door pockets are also large in size as in the same case of the rear, and 1-liter bottles can easily fit in. This car gets a massive 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system which is horizontally placed, and it is definitely a head turner for buyers. This infotainment system is loaded with features, and it also gets connected car features along with the Blue Link, which is pretty good. And you also get voice control functions which are strikingly good. Since the screen is horizontal, there's various things happening at the same time which is really good, and you get various features like the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth connectivity, aux, USB, CD player, and much more. This car gets automatic climate control, and it cools down the cabin in no time. The dashboard of this car is leather wrapped and looks premium and amazing. And finally you can say goodbye to this boring hard touch plastics. And this car gets cooled glove box, and it is pretty decently sized. This car gets wireless charging, and the slot is placed right over here. There's 2 cup holders placed right over here which are pretty decently sized, and there's a huge storage space below this armrest. So in terms of practicality, Hyundai has done a great job on it. This car doesn't get auto-dimming mirrors, and the controls for the emergency assistance, Blue Link, and towing the car is placed right over here. There are 2 LED lights placed right over here, and the controls for the sunroof is placed right over here. And I once again have to admit that the panoramic sunroof is massive in size and opens widely, and it will definitely attract a lot of buyers. This car gets a push button start, and let's quickly turn on the car. And there it comes to life. This happens to be SX trim which gets analog display and looks really nice, but you get digital cluster on the SX optional trim. The speedometer is placed on the right, the tachometer is placed on the left, and the fuel meter is placed on down right corner, and the engine temperature meter is placed on left corner of the cluster. The controls for the wipers are placed on the left side, and the controls for the lights are placed on the right side. The multi-information display screen is placed on the center, and it shows various informations about the car and also the gear shift indicators, which tells on which gear you're driving currently and the gear you need to shift into. This is the overall look of the dashboard, and it feels so premium, and Hyundai has done a very good job in designing the interior of the car. The base model of this car is priced at 11.5 lakhs on road, and the top level trim goes all the way up to 20.8 lakhs, and this particular car, that is the 1.5 liter diesel SX manual transmission, is priced at 17.5 lakhs. So that's all everyone. If you like this video, you know what to do. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.